It's Margaret in Windsor, and here I go again. This will be tape 3 this morning, and today's my birthday. At least that's when I celebrate it. I'm a Capricorn, I guess, a little goat. Anyway, I'm having trouble with something I bought was wrong, and I realize now, just like, well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to show it again. This is my dad, Edward the Eighth, who didn't marry Wallace Simpson. It's one of the doubles. And my father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, sister to Georgia O'Keefe, the artist. And my mom was a school teacher. They were married. My father wouldn't follow their orders, and that's my grandfather who died, and he became king, and he wouldn't follow the orders, and that's exactly why your United Nations was formed. If you go back and time this, when he was taken down in December 36, character assassination. I was born 39, and I'm being redundant here. I'm showing this picture. This is where I was taken. This is in high school, a photograph. This is when I ran in a campaign to replace Larry McDonald, U.S. House of Representatives. Congressman went down in the KAL September the 31st of 83. Mr. Flint had been shot by a program shooter, and I'd been writing a book about that, about programming people, the Tesla files. You can program them, and they're victims just like everyone that's been shot, like Virginia Tech next door here, or Ventura, California, or Aurora, Colorado, and a whole bunch of these murders were done in patterns. He says here that I know who was responsible for his shooting, March of 1978, and I was doing the book. He was shot in Gwinnett County, Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I was about 45 miles away in Marietta, Moonraker Apartments, and then got a letter from the FBI. The book never got published. It was an ongoing investigation. But the book was put in a safety deposit box the bank belonged to Bert Lance, who was counsel. Well, I don't know if he's counsel. He was on the council, the staff, right next to Jimmy Carter when he was president. He was former governor. Now I'm going to try to put this up. And bear with me, because I have to turn it around in the camera to get the camera to take me. Then I can't touch this to turn the camera on or off. So here I go again. So you can see this isn't going to work. It's going to tear the phone up for one thing. It's going to go off again. Wait and see. And I'll have a blank when I turn it around. Okay, here we go. Well, whatever I was going to say, I've used up half the film, and I still won't get my full face on. Have my nose or something. It's turning over. Oh, God. Okay. Here we go. Let's see if it's got up. I'll get a little bit of this up here. And what I wanted to put up here real quick is, I didn't get this up about Caroline Kennedy, the picture, with Obama. He appointed her ambassador to Japan. The Kennedys were appointed, like I said, as ambassador to England by Roosevelt. Joe was JFK, Caroline's father. Flew in there during when I was born in 39, and he helped in my kidnapping and bringing me to this place, Pigsty in Moulton, Alabama, and giving me another name. Now, he made her ambassador, Obama did, Caroline, so they groomed who for the next president. I wonder about Mrs. Obama suddenly on the scene. Oprah says she's not going to, but I can't remember the lady who was over the United Nations that just left a couple of months ago, because the UN is your global government. The Rockefellers, Rothschilds that kidnapped me, and my family have become, Elizabeth always was, and George, they're illegal. I'm not going to go into all this again. I'm not going to get it up here. I wanted to put this up, though. Everyone, and I'm being redundant too, supposedly, everyone has known about the takedown of my father, and he didn't marry Wallace, so all this is a lie. Your Illuminati press is control. Your UN is right there in New York City, and NBC even has a thing over their door there saying Rockefeller Plaza. You walk out the door, and your media is there and has Rockefeller Plaza, and it shows the shopping center there, and Rockefeller headquarters is there in New York City, and so is the United Nations, which is your global government that would not have been had they not taken down my father. He wouldn't sign the treaties, etc. And they took him down, and then when I was born, it would have brought him back as my guardian power of attorney because he had made proper arrangements and papers that were legal. They forced him out. And now then look who's in power. And my dad's name is being smeared still. He never married Spy Wallace Simpson. I guess they can't hear me out there. Now, let me say this, though. Ever since they kidnapped and took down my father, you had Winston Churchill, who was in on it, Kennedy's, JFK, his father, the whole bunch of Kennedys have known about it. And I'm getting distracted. This is the vacuuming out there. So let me see if I can get undistracted again. They've always known about it since Winston Churchill was close friends with Eisenhower, who was general, who became president. He was given cigar smoking Winston Churchill, who so admired the movies, have made heroes out of these cold-blooded killers, and that's illegal George VI, who they made the Illuminati made king. That distracted me. And in 37, same year, Wallace married the double, and my father down, and then I'm born in 39, and I've showed you that where they had the meeting at 39, George and the Roosevelt family and Elizabeth's mom. It is all illegal. They were planning my kidnapping, and JFK helped in it. Brought me to Moulton, Alabama, and I'm trying to read and look in here too, I guess. Anyway, I really don't need to look at this. I usually don't have anything. I'm better if I don't. But what I was trying to say is everybody has known about my kidnapping. Your State Departments have to know because they've dealt with Great Britain. I'm a hostage, plain and simple. Now then, so that I get this up, this is what I wanted to put up. The Watergate tapes, there was a movie that came out about Watergate. And the one that I want to focus on was Dean. He was one of the staff for Nixon. And there was supposed to be a movie made by him, and it was canceled, and I put a little bit of this up. But I was living at Treetop in Marietta, not too far from Moonraker, where I moved, and started doing the book there at Treetop. And then got the letter from the FBI, and was almost killed April Fool's Day of 80 again, and should have died, really. I shouldn't have walked away from that at all. And was illegally stuffed in the car by Lina Dempsey, that family, because she was afraid to be told. The family covered it up about killing Peggy and Carl, the twins, and about my true identity. So they were the doctors, and Larry McDonald was a part of it, and then went down the plane. I'm going to quit there. I'm going to get to this, if I can get back to it now. Henry Kissinger was with Diana. I want to put this up, and I had a picture of that when she was auctioning off all these fancy gowns she had worn, and she was auctioning them off up in D.C. And Henry Kissinger was either shaking her hand, and he had an article about it, what he said, or had his arm around her back. I can't remember. He said that he thought she should be queen. He also said, and this has been told time and again, that the ultimate aphrodisiac is power and money and control. That's what a psychopath says. So anyway, he's wanting her to be queen. Now I want to fast forward to this. When I was almost killed April Fool Day of '80, and that was hell. It was horrible. I was illegally stuffed in the car and taken back to Huntsville, Alabama. Mind you, there'd been an FBI ongoing investigation. I thought it was because of the book. Turned out in part it was, mostly it was because of who I am. I was flown out to Mr. Flint's, who'd been shot, and he helped me in the campaign in '83 to replace Larry McDonald. Now, you don't ever hear any of this. Nancy Pelosi has been up there, all these people, congressmen. If they don't know, man, you're in trouble, and you are. Some of this has totally been used on you, not totally, but on you all too, like Timothy McVeigh. That's not an isolated, it's a mass. Like Ventura, like Santa Barbara, I can go on listening, Virginia Tech, etc. Parkland and Florida, the mass shootings, plus people have been killed with it. You can cure an illness or create one with mind control. Now I wanted to get to this, and I don't know if somebody's listening out there or not. So everybody's known it, especially the Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Of course, they knew before she ever got that position. And what was the black lady from Alabama that was head of the State Department? Anyway, your defense gets in on this too, and I'm going to get to it. I won't get it all up here. Probably won't anyway. I'm going to skip to 19. I showed you that Hustler magazine of '84, and I did have an apartment briefly up there from November the 16th, across from Seven Corners, and Lord and Taylor's used to be that. It was apartments. I had the car furnished by Larry Flint. Found out later he had been put in prison at Butner for, what did he say? I can't remember. Now I'm going blank. I'm sitting by this thing that makes me so sick I've been telling it about, and it's blowing. It's not on, but it's coming up here. I put that up, the mat they used to use to camp to keep it from getting on me as much. But it's making me skip around. I better don't get back to it now. This shows you how it bothers the heck out of me. This is nothing for what it's mold mildew and everything else, and this has been used on me. Toxic fumes. I'm allergic to it. I have an autoimmune disorder, and it makes me really sick, and my immune system shuts down, so you can imagine. Anyway, if I can get this up now, it's going to make, I'm going to forget where I'm going with it. Anyway, I'll just say this. Nixon, about a week before this happened, something happened. Victor Gonzalez is a doctor there in Atlanta, and he's still there. You put your children in his care, and you or your husband or relative in this man's care. He's a psychopath. He was diagnosed by Don Reagan, who was a psychiatrist, and he moved. They ran him out of town, I think. He ended up in Florida, and oddly enough, he went into practice with Will Hoyt, who'd been taken down, because he was doing some stuff that I was writing about. That was the odd thing. But he diagnosed him as Gonzalez, who's treating people still in power and impregnating and raping using the license he has. And I was told back then, and this is going to go off, I know it is, I've not had time, that law enforcement already had him under investigation. So there you go. And I'm up here trying to still put this up. Anyway, they've always known. I can't think of the Rice, Condoleezza Rice. All of them have known it. Now to Henry Kissinger. You had the Watergate hearing. The subpoena of the the 18.5-minute tape that supposedly got broken and messed up, and they couldn't use it. And even Nixon's secretary. It was done right there in the office, a phone call. She lied and covered up. Okay, here's the real deal on it. About a week or 2 weeks before this happened, and it had to be 1972, there's got to be records. I witnessed something at Gonzalez's office, and I wasn't supposed to see. And by the way, I don't know what was given to me, but I was stuffed in my car and taken out. It was about 7 o'clock at night by that time. It was dark. And dead end in Terrell Mill, that's where Warren and Rosina Matthews lived near there and killed. It was a new subdivision in Marietta, and they were killed. They were forensic psychiatrists at Piedmont Hospital, where Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor, was. There's a lot of other murders. Gene Srokeman I wrote about, etc., from that hospital. You would think Congress would be really interested in all this, wouldn't you? So why? Ask yourself why. Nancy Pelosi has been there a long time, but all these people have known it, and your press has to be so controlled, because they don't even tell about the mind control murders. They have to tell about me, where they got all this. Now, I can keep going. You had Truman, you had President Truman, you had Nixon, you had Eisenhower, and some of the high-ups in Britain. Obviously, a couple of my relatives in on this takedown of my dad and my kidnapping. Now then, if I can get this up here. When I was almost killed, I was taken across what I saw. I was almost killed that night, and I put this up, so I'm going to try to get this up on this video, and I'm going to skip that, what they did to me up at Terrell Mill, and somebody drove up behind and got their tag number, and it kept them from finishing it and killing me. So it's about a week, 2 weeks later that Gonzalez drugs me, and I'm taken across from Northside Hospital, Roswell. It's a suburb of Atlanta. Marietta's right there. I was taken to College Park at the trolley tracks. That's across Atlanta. In the condition I was in, I knew, I don't remember the cross. It's gone off. I bet nothing, do you? I'm going to quit.